I've been around the world, thought leaders, the billionaires, millionaires, entrepreneurs, celebrities, athletes, and entertainers all agree that gratitude is actually the most impactful thing in business.
Since 1981, Justin has been producing world-class Bordeaux-style wines from Paso Robles on California's Central Coast. As the pioneer of Paso, Justin wines are what put Paso Robles on the winemaking map. The Justin team believes that wine should be exceptional from every angle, which is why their team uses boutique winemaking practices like hand harvesting and hand sorting. With a rich history of accolades, Justin produces exceptional wines and is proud to be America's #1 luxury Cabernet. Whether you're the first-time wine drinker or a wine aficionado, Justin has a wine for every celebration and occasion. Visit justinwine.com and enter promo code Playbook20 for 20% off your order. Justin offers the perfect holiday gifts for clients, colleagues, friends, or family. Be sure to check them out at justinwine.com to receive 20% off your order for a limited time and use the promo code Playbook20.
David, welcome.
Thank you so much. Ironically, the book Connected to Goodness, which we'll discuss today, was inspired by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. In fact, when I went to go write the book, I went to the Napoleon Hill Foundation and asked for help. And I wanted to structure my book like Think and Grow Rich because it's a mindset, heart set, and pragmatic handset book, just like Think and Grow Rich. And I'm very proud to be a part of Napoleon Hill and its legacy.
Well, if you don't know David, I don't know where you've been, because David is the man. He's head of Sports One marketing. Used to run the Lee Steinberg sports agency. I mean, he's played a pivotal role in shaping the sports and marketing landscape. He's also just really one of the best humans I know. And I think he's on a mission to impact millions of people, change their lives, help them be better, help them live better, lead better lives, be better partners. So that's why I wanted to have you on, David, because I think I love your mission, love what you're doing. You've been hugely impactful to me. And again, welcome. And I know, Cynthia, you got questions, so let's get to them.
I know a little bit less than Rhett on a personal level anyway. And so I've got some questions. First of all, I love the title, Connected to Goodness. It is something I strive for personally, obviously, or away from the opposite of goodness. I do know, though, that there are some critics out there that think that you may have oversimplified success. And I'm curious what you would say to those critics who think that hard work is, I guess, more essential than being connected to goodness.
Yeah, I think people can perceive things as they might, but the simple things to do are simple not to do. So take one of the core components in the book, like gratitude. I've been around the world, thought leaders, the billionaires, millionaires, entrepreneurs, celebrities, athletes, and entertainers all agree that gratitude is actually the most impactful thing in business. Now, that is a simple thing to do. If I told you that you could change your life by simply saying thank you before you went to bed and thank you when you woke up, you'd actually agree with me. And so would all those critics out there that said I've simplified success in business. But yet by tonight, that simple thing that takes 0.1 seconds and is free, by the way, half of us won't say thank you. And the next morning, another half of us won't say thank you. And within 3 days, almost all of us won't say thank you. And so the simple things to do are unfortunately simple not to do because of human nature and intuition of how difficult or simple something is. So within the context of several different complex strategies, philosophies, and perspectives comes simplicity. Take two simple words that Kierkegaard, for example, has written about and perplexed the greatest minds on earth. 2 words, I am. If I read I am in 11th grade AP English like I did, I'm like, oh, you know what? My AP English teacher has now simplified my life with these 2 words and 3 letters, I am. But I am telling you, I'm 56 years old, Cynthia, and I have been studying those two words and the depth and the richness of those two words in other religious, spiritual, theoretical, and philosophical texts that I've studied are more complex than they seem at the surface. So just because other people aren't aware of the complexity doesn't mean that life isn't simple, and it doesn't incorporate a lot of hard work. I believe in doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing, not just doing.
Yeah.
I'm curious, when you say I'm 56 and I've been doing this a long time, what was your moment when you were like, this is a big deal. Like, this is a big deal for me.
And that's a great point. So it was 2 years before I lost over $100 million when I went bankrupt that my wife told me she was leaving me and told me I better take stock in who I was and what I wanted to become. And she said she couldn't hang out anymore. I was extremely wealthy at the time because she knew if I continued with the behaviors that I had, that I would end up dead. And I had 3 daughters under the age of 10, and she did not want to be around that. When I woke up the next morning, I hated 4 people, and I couldn't understand how these 4 people were being so critical and mean to me after everything I'd done for them, while everyone else in the world, as I was worth so much money, running the most notable sports agency in the world, loved me so much. Why was it that my mom, my dad, my best friend, and my wife seemed to hate me? Therefore, I hated them. How dare they talk to me the way that they did? And that moment is when I realized that I didn't hate them, that I hated myself. Because instead of living as I am, I was living what I wanted people to think I am. And the only people who really knew who I am were disappointed in who I am, because I was disappointed. Regardless of how much money and fame I had at the time, I was disappointed in who I am. So for me, instead of trying to be more happy, more healthy, more wealthy, and more worthy, I decided that I would live my life as I am and figure out through hard work, Cynthia, what I was doing to interfere with who I am.
Wow. Okay. I can't imagine that wake-up call, right? To stare in the mirror and see, to see what you become, right? And the self-work that you have to do to come back from that. I mean, most people would crawl up in a corner and give up. Say, I'm done. I can't.
Yeah.
How did you, how do you come back from that?
Well, first you have to look within yourself to see what you want outside of yourself. And so regardless of what other people saw outside, someone who had lost everything, went from 33 homes in San Diego alone to a rented house, rented furniture, and 1 car, and having to tell my mom, after the only reason I wanted to be rich, growing up in Akron, Ohio with 6 kids and a single mom who gave everything she could, not only to her family or community, to the Sunday schools and all the other charities and women's rights and liberation in the 70s, when a woman couldn't even get a credit card without a man co-signing for them. All the things that she'd lived for, I had to go tell my mom that I had lost everything, including the home that I had bought her. And at that basement, when I talk about your basement having a basement, I realized that I had plenty of wisdom. But what I lacked was what my mom was trying to teach me. As I told her that day, Mom, I don't know why I'm being punished. I am so sorry for everything I've done, but I don't believe in God. And my mom said to me, sweetheart, you believe in God, you just believe in the wrong God. And I used not only wisdom, but faith that there was actually something bigger than me, omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing source, however you label it, that loved me, protected me, and promoted me more than my mom. And this faith over the last 18 years, Rhett and Cynthia, The wisdom is there by asking for help and researching and doing all the wonderful things that we're more accessible to today. But it's that faith that when detours happen, no longer are they punishment to me, Rhett. The detours in my life are divine. They're there to protect me, promote me, and to love me. And in that shortening of the distance of resistance that I've created throughout my life, I know that it's the wisdom and faith when I have pain, setbacks, and failure that make my purpose greater than the pain, setback, and failure. And I promise you, no matter how deep the basements of the basements are in your life, if your purpose is greater than the pain, setbacks, and failures, you'll have resilience beyond belief and you will never quit no matter what other people think or what fear you have in your life.
Hey, Cynthia, you mind if I ask a question? Another question? I know it was
No,
your
no, please go ahead. I'm still recovering from the chills his mother gave me just a second ago.
I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and as you know, I've read the book, and Cynthia and I were talking about this episode. I've been really thinking about collective energy a lot, and can you talk about that? Because I think that has a lot to do with team success in a business. It has so much to do with family success and how you're. But I'm fascinated by this sort of collective energy that you talk about.
I love it because as I study religions, philosophies, theories, and spirituality, they all talk about collective consciousness or collective energy and an aggregate of a higher potential by joining the minds, masterminding, as Napoleon Hill in 1938 talked about, even in Outwitting the Devil, Beyond Think and Grow Rich. There's always been a power of recollecting, reminding, and remembering. Mm-hmm. And the power of the collective consciousness is far greater because it, in a physics, in a science sense, it aggregates enlightenment or awareness. It accelerates the enlightenment or awareness, and it also creates exponentiality of outcomes. And so for me, knowing that, for example, one particle of light, in the sense of physics, will overcome 1,000,000 particles of darkness. If you don't believe me, it's really simple to prove. Go into a closet, shut the door, and light a match, and you will witness each particle of light overcoming 1,000,000 particles of darkness. And when you see a collective, a few aligned, intentional souls that are focused in a divine direction, allowing for divine time, to see the exponentiality of the outcomes. And if we see historically how peace is created on earth, how ease is created on earth, it's a few collective people that create a consciousness that lights the darkness. And it's the few, and it's obviously represented in so many different Bibles in so many different ways. When the few beat the many, when the few full of light beat all the people with darkness. Historically, we can search through human nature and in history to find that human nature never changes. And for me, the collective is my mission. I want to empower 1,000 people like Rhett and Cynthia to, as I know they will, empower 1,000 people to empower 1,000 people. When we talk of creating a collective consciousness that will change the world, and I boldly state to people, my mission is to change the world. It's by finding just 1,000 people to empower 1,000 people to empower 1,000 people with that light and liberate each other with that light. Because I know if we can empower over 1 billion people together, the other 7 billion will fall.
Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking about the times in my life where you felt like you were empowering someone else, or you were being empowered by something or someone else. And I'm curious, how would you suggest, or how do you balance, being empowered to one thing, but also your own personal interests at the same time?
So I work within practices. Anytime that we want to get better or progress, it takes practice. And so I have a philosophy of daily practices within the context of what circumstances exist today. by aligning one of the things that limit us, which is the meaning of the past. So if I take what do I want today according to those circumstances, who can I help and who can help me, distinguishing that duality of empowerment, and then how best, according to the circumstances, can I utilize man-made constructive time 24 hours a day to best give myself value and receive value and illustrate gratitude and forgiveness. So for me, it's knowing what I want each day, who I can help, who can help me, and how to get it done. Then, according to the circumstances of today, I prioritize my time and the activities in the context of that time to be productive, accessible, and gracious so that I'm efficient, effective, and statistically successful. And I am reducing the limitation of not only the meaning that I give my past, the failures, the setbacks, the losing over $100 million, the historical relevances, the defining moments of my life, but also I am constantly expanding my own self-image through these practices, because practice creates progress, and my good behavior will create good progress, and my bad behavior will create interference to that good progress. And my good behavior is only aligned with my divine direction, and your good behavior is aligned with yours, not what's missing, not what we don't have, not what other people think of me, but simply knowing the what, the who, the how, and the now, instead of searching for my why each day to empower myself or empower others. I apply my why with wisdom and faith and the systematic practice that creates systematic behaviors, that creates systematic progress, that accelerates, aggregates, and compounds exponentially the outcomes of the divine direction, allowing me to have purpose to maintain and sustain divine detours, and most importantly, allow for divine time to reveal the actual results of my behaviors. And this is a formula that I teach not only in the book, but with coaching and meetups and lives and interviews like this around the world to empower others to empower others.
This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. Therapy is a great tool for facing your fears and finding ways to overcome them, because sometimes the scariest thing is not facing our fears in the first place and holding ourselves back. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/playbook today to get a 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/playbook. Imagine starting a small business, your first customer, first hire, first real paycheck. But everything isn't just exciting, it's scary. That's where JustWorks come in, the all-in-one platform that supports small business growth. Access seamless tools that help with benefits, payroll, HR, and compliance with transparent pricing. It's time to make payroll painless. Run payroll in 90 seconds or less and automate payments so you can set it and forget it. Did you know in 2023 alone, they processed over 25.6 billion in trusted payroll customers? Don't worry about the paperwork piling up either. They take care of payroll tax documents and reporting to help you stay compliant. Visit justworks.com/podcast to join the thousands of small businesses that trust JustWorks to take care of payroll, benefits, compliance, and more. That's justworks.com/podcast.
Maybe I'm talking to the wrong group sometimes, but I often get the eye rolls when I start talking about manifestation. And I can see it. I can see right. But I think the way you talk about manifestation is really beautiful. But can you talk about it a little bit, and how manifesting desires in a sort of practical, maybe actionable way? Like what? Because I think you explain it well.
Well, I appreciate that. It comes from.
Maybe I get the eye rolls because I don't explain it well. But
look, you're planting seeds under trees you may never sit under when people eye roll. So don't worry about people not ready to understand what we're saying or how we're saying it, and the strength and the spectrum in which the vibration or frequency elevates their awareness. That's irrelevant because I've experienced that myself. I was completely resistant to my wife's inspiration of learning manifestation through the movie The Secret. I rolled my eyes through the movie, after the movie. Ironically, I'm in the Beyond the Secret movie, Netflix. I'm part of the Transformational Leadership Council. People ask me to explain manifestation. If they only knew Dave Meltzer rolling his eyes. But obviously, someone like you, Rhett, planted a seed in me. And now there's trees that have grown. So what's the idea of manifestation that hopefully will allow people? Well, for me, it's understanding a mathematical formula of manifestation. First, which is in the movie The Secret, you need to pay attention to what you want. So if it's a vision board, if it's reading or surrounding yourself with the right people, the right ideas, these are ways to focus in on, the house, the car, the job, the wife, the relationship, the weather, whatever it is, the green lights, whatever it is you want. The first step is to pay attention to it in a consistent, committed manner. Then this is where people get confused. And it starts and circles back to what Cynthia asked me, where people are skeptical or confused at the simplicity of connected to goodness. You see, they don't understand the intention. They think you can sit at home high on your mom's couch dreaming about a Ferrari, and someone's just going to drive a Ferrari up into your driveway. That's not what connected goodness says. It's not that simple. It's pay attention to the Ferrari, and then every day utilize your time according to the circumstances of the day to do everything that you can to get that Ferrari, to say everything you can to get that Ferrari, to think everything you can to get that Ferrari, to believe everything you can to get that Ferrari, and to feel energetically everything you can to get that Ferrari. Because when you pay attention, plus give the 5 levels of intention to whatever it is that you want, the coincidences will occur, the coinciding of the universe, the results, the consequences that you want, or better, Rhett, or better will happen. And so that's the mathematical equation of manifestation that more people won't roll their eyes out when they realize I'm not sitting at home high, sick, and broke on my mom's couch dreaming about a Ferrari. I'm going to do, say, think, feel, and believe at an amazing commitment to consistent behavior and persistent behavior to enjoy the pursuit of that consequence, result, or better.
Yeah. I had this the very thing explained to me, and I actually started working it into presentations. This idea of, your brand, your personal brand, who you are, everything around you is a mirror, and I'm sure you've heard that. Then someone said to me once, "Well, a mirror never smiles first," and it's this idea that we have to be the ones that put the work out. Like everyone's like, I want you to love my company, love my brand. I'm like, but you don't love it. So like, well, you're not really being a great salesperson here. But I know in the book you talk about creating additional salespeople. What is that like for you? I mean, I think I have my version of it, but I'd love to hear from you.
It's evolved over the years, but for me, it's building community, which when you were talking about brand in particular, for me is there's symbiotic to community. A brand is a community today, and we create these communities, even socially. We have a social silo, a rabbit hole that we can send people down. It is dangerous in politics. Rhett can explain that, especially where we're only being fed today the same information in a social silo. So our reality, our perspective is skewed, that we're not as open-minded, and we create separation where there should be appreciation. Appreciation is adding value to one another, appreciating the differences. And there's much greater challenge today in that. But when we're talking about community or brand, for me, my mission is based off of building a community of people that want to help each other and know people that can help each other. And because we have such great access to an unbelievable community, a size, scope, and scale of a community of 7.6 billion people, it would take me and Rhett when we were young over a month to get in contact with 1,000 people. Now it takes less than a few seconds. And so The strategy of building a community is truly the mirror that you're talking about, is knowing your essence, know your skills, your knowledge, and your desire. And you capture that, modify it, amplify it, and perpetuate it in person, on the phone, via email, traditional and social media. All of a sudden, you have a community of people that do two things for you for life. They buy from you and sell for you for life. And if you want to exponentially grow your essence, your energy, your brand, have a million people selling for you for life, let alone buying from you. And I promise you'll understand the exponentiality of outcomes.
You know, we were talking about the Ferrari a little bit ago, manifestation. And I wonder, I think people have a lot of guilt about money and wanting money and wanting money, maybe is not the right way to put it, but wanting what comes with money, which is freedom and the ability to do what you want, how you want to do it. Is there, I mean, should we have guilt around that? Like,
great question. And I've been in the pursuit of being able to articulate abundance with the energy of money, knowing that money is an energy. And there's, for me, 4 different things that have come historically in its presence. One is that money is an energy. And so, like every energy, it has 3 characteristics. It aggregates, it accelerates, and it compounds. That's what energy does upon itself. All are very beneficial in the energy of money. If you can get your money to aggregate, accelerate, and compound, this is a really good thing when it comes to money. But most people don't understand the infinite flow of energy, or the same equating to money. 1, the more you give, the more you'll be given. And the more you're given is a matter of awareness, utilizing gratitude once again, which is why it's a key component of simplicity of success, but also forgiveness. So many people don't realize in a situation all that they're given, especially pertaining to money, because you'll never overachieve your own self-image. You've given a certain thermostat or meaning to money. People used to always say when I was young, people with money were bad people. No, people with money are not bad people. People do bad things with money when they don't have or understand that money allows you to shop. And if you shop for the right things for the right reasons, money can buy you happiness and love. If you don't, you could be in big trouble. But if you realize the more money you have, the more you're given, and the more you're given, the more you can receive. Once again, your limitation, worthiness, resentment, and guilt may stop you, even if you're aware as a positive optimist of all that you're given, you may not feel worthy of receiving it. So all that you give 100%, you only take back less than that. You're going to end up at 0. It's the zero-sum game that the kindest, nicest, sometimes most abundant people, they fail because they are afraid or guilty or resentful of receiving. And then here's the confirmation of faith for me in the infinite loop of energy of money, is that in order to illustrate or confirm that you understand money or the energy of it, then you should be asking for more all the time, because you should believe there's more than enough money for everyone and everything. And the people who have the most money, they give more, they're given more, they receive more, and they ask for more than more. Then they give more than more, receive more than more, and then ask for more than more than more. So instead of ending up in a zero-sum game, they end up in the world of more than enough of everything for everyone. And it doesn't just pertain to money, it pertains to all energies, of all behaviors, of all desires. And that is the infinite loop of energy, which pertains to money.
Hear that saying, if you owe someone $1, you have a problem. If you owe someone $100 million, they have a problem.
Gotcha.
That's how that goes. It just sounds like, when you say it, it sounds so simple, but there's the negative money and the debt, and there's positive money, giving, taking, back and forth. I mean, do you have any tips for overcoming these mental hurdles?
I do. First of all, read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's a good start. And understand the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich is having a lot of money. Being wealthy is when your assets create more revenue than your expenses. And it derives itself from the purpose of money, which is freedom to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want. And those people whose assets create more income than their expenses can do what they want, when they want, with who they want, for as long as they want. And we lose focus in on that. So within and inherent in the statement of, the dollar, $100 million, you can start realizing why, if you owe someone $100 million, it's their problem, because you probably are able to derive enough income from your assets to overcome any expense that you have. And so I would suggest, one, either reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, which will give you a great basis foundation to building wealth, but two, understand the difference for you between being rich, having a lot of money, and being wealthy, being able to utilize your assets to derive income that exceeds your revenue, which also pertains to value. Why most of my life I spend practicing articulating a quantitative value to exceed what I'm asking for. In other words, understanding my timing and risk tolerance, perceived value, and bottom line. Perceived value of anything is created by your practice and comfort level and confidence in articulating a value to exceed what you're asking for. Bottom line is just math. It tells you when to walk away because it's not worth it to you. And those are lessons and tips that I teach every day. And I want to, by the way, before we finish here, I want to offer everyone in your community my book. I want them for free. I'll sign my book. I will send it to them. I will pay for shipping, everything. If they email me directly, I answer them myself. I would love to share with this community my book so they can see the hard work and simplicity that it takes to manifest everything they desire in life and business. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I'm sure we'll put it in the notes as well. But I think I have time for another question before we go, Rhett and Cynthia.
Well, we got 1,011 people on right now, so
Not a problem. That's my
Great
mission.
energy.
Oh, by the way, my lucky number is 111. I was born on January 11th at 111. So there's no coincidence that there's 1,011 people on.
well, I agree with that 100%. For me, I've gone to a lot of the events and a lot of the, and we were in New York City a couple of weeks ago, and I remember sitting there talking to a young man who was kind of lost, struggling with who he was and where he was, not just physically, but where he was in life. And what's your advice to somebody that's listening right now? Because I guarantee you, we've got somebody listening right now that's saying, this is all great, but where do I start in transforming myself into the person that I want to be?
Yeah, or become. My best piece of advice, whether you're 16, 26, 36, 46, 56, like I am, some days 66, 76, 86, and so on. 3 words: ask for help. The fastest way to get to where you want to be, whether you're starting off or you're on top of the mountain, I promise you, is finding someone that sits in the situation you want to be in and ask them for directions, ask them for help. Not only will they save you the dummy tax and the pain and all the interference that they have created for themselves, but they themselves will know other people that can help you as well. The fastest way to get to where you want to be is not only to ask for help, but also find someone that you can help as well. The prayer that I give every morning is to ask God for at least 10 people that I can help, but also ask God for at least 10 people that can help me. This is the idea of empowerment. This is my mission in life, to create a community of people that want to help each other and know people that can help each other. 3 simple words to your destiny: ask for help.
So in that vein, I want you to share where you're going to be in the next couple of weeks. I know you've got some meetups. You've got maybe that person can come up and say, I saw you on that program. Can I get one of those books you were talking about?
Absolutely. Well, I'll mail them paid for shipping, so don't even worry if I'm there. David@dmeltzer.com. But I will be in Vegas tomorrow. I'm keynoting the Super Summit there with about 4,000 people. So come and see me. I'm doing a meetup I'm doing some content with Ryan Pineda as well. We have studios at the Wynn and Palazzo. Be more than happy to meet up in person, and I will have books there for free. So save me the shipping and show up in person. And then I'll be at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, both doing a mastermind and a dinner. And then, of course, we're going to be in New York City as well. Hopefully, Rhett and Cynthia will be joining us there. We are celebrating with a meetup as well as a VIP dinner. I'm keynoting Adweek in New York City, doing a VIP dinner for honoring junior achievement. I'm blessed to be the Chief Chancellor of Junior Achievement University. We were nominated for the second year in a row for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Right,
We have Ja Rule, Claude Silver, Victor Cruz, Rhett Power speaking at my VIP dinner at Adweek. So come and join us there. I'm in 200 or more cities this year. So please just email me. We do meetups, holding courts, VIP dinners, speeches, lives. If you can't find me, then you don't want to find me because I am accessible. David@dmeltzer.com. I'm blessed not only to be your friend, Rhett, but now to be introduced to Cynthia. What an honor it is. I'd love to do more content with both of you. And thank you for the opportunity to share.